Parliament in Cape Town is hearing explosive testimony that goes to the heart of law enforcement, political interference, and the legacy of one of South Africa's most controversial policing scandals. Former reservist and forensic investigator Paul O'Sullivan has taken the stand before a parliamentary ad hoc committee, alleging systemic failures and political interference that stretched from the era of former Police Commissioner Jackie Celebi to today's senior police leadership. This is a developing story, and here is our report. What happened? For the first time in weeks, Paul O'Sullivan appeared in person before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating alleged corruption, interference and misconduct within the South African Police Service, known as SAPS. O'Sullivan's testimony focused on his long-standing investigation into crime and corruption, including the role of former National Police Commissioner Jackie Celebi. He told lawmakers that Celebi violated the Police Service Act by serving simultaneously as a senior African National Congress official while leading the police, a breach that he says undermined policing and the rule of law. He also linked this to the intense political rivalry between former President Thabo Mbeki and his then-deputy Jacob Zuma in the run-up to the ANC's 2007 Polokwane conference. O'Sullivan alleged that law enforcement and prosecutorial processes were manipulated during that period, creating fertile ground for political interference in key investigations. Spy tapes and political interference. Central to the testimony were references to the so-called spy tapes, recorded conversations involving senior figures connected to the now-disbanded Scorpions unit. O'Sullivan described how these tapes allegedly showed plans to get Celebi off the hook and get Zuma on a hook, suggesting coordinated interference in investigations. These recordings were central to Jacob Zuma's legal challenges and were cited when corruption charges were controversially dropped shortly before he became president in 2009, a decision later overturned by the courts. Personality clashes and controversy. O'Sullivan's appearance has not been without controversy. Earlier, he clashed with MPs after seeking to limit questioning about events prior to 1919 on the basis of personal and family security, a request rejected by the committee. He also denied claims that he is a foreign agent, affirming he holds multiple citizenships, but insisting his loyalty lies with South Africa and that he has never acted on behalf of any foreign government. The tense exchanges included claims from O'Sullivan that there have been repeated attempts on his life and that he had to return early from overseas to ensure his testimony was heard before the committee concludes its work. Broader allegations and context. O'Sullivan's testimony is part of a wider probe into allegations of corruption and political meddling in the police service. He has previously said that his investigations have led to 15 generals and 18 brigadiers facing criminal charges, and he has called for senior police leaders to be held accountable. This inquiry comes amid serious concerns over SAPS integrity and broader law enforcement credibility, issues raised in recent parliamentary hearings, including allegations of criminal cartels infiltrating police structures. Background: the Jackie Celebi case. Celebi, once South Africa's National Police Commissioner, was convicted of corruption in 2010 for receiving payments from convicted drug trafficker Glenn Agliotti and sentenced to 15 years imprisonment. He was later released on medical parole and died in 2015. O'Sullivan's work provided key evidence in that case, including details from drug seizures valued at about 200 million rands. Speaking before the committee, O'Sullivan said, "I wanted to live in a country where there is the rule of law. I didn't want to live in a country where a chief of police could be so corrupt that he could enter into an agreement that could assist a sitting president to arrest and charge a future possible president." Parliament itself has acknowledged the gravity of evidence before it, with Chairperson Soviet Lagyanye rejecting limits on questioning and insisting all relevant matters be fully probed. As the ad hoc committee continues its work, South Africans watch closely to see whether this inquiry will yield lasting reforms within law enforcement. For now, the questions raised about past political interference, systemic failures, and the independence of the criminal justice system remain at the forefront of national debate. And this is a developing story.